Go makes it easy to run code concurrently using something called Goroutines, and that's what we're going to have a look at in this one. So Goroutines enable you to run functions at the same time as other code. So whilst they're simple to start, it's not straightforward knowing where and why you should use them. So let's have a look at them in this one. First of all, let's just be clear about what exactly a goroutine is. So this bit's important. What is a goroutine? It's a function that runs concurrently with other code in the same program. So goroutines are lightweight compared to OS threads. They are managed by the Go runtime. They are cheap to create and destroy, and they're designed to scale to many concurrent tasks. And like it says, you don't need to create or manage threads directly because Go handles this for you. So let's go and create our first goroutine. Okay, so here I've just defined a function just like any other function we've ever defined. It's very simple. It's called say hello, and it's just going to print out hello from a goroutine. And then inside of the main function, we're just printing out this here print line hello from main. So if you just wanted to invoke say hello as normal and have that run and then have this next line run, then the way that we would do that is just like this. So say hello would run first, we'd see hello from a goroutine, and then we would see hello from main. Let's run that. Hello from a goroutine, hello from main. But if we wanted to run these concurrently, i.e. this is running at the same time as this, then we can use a goroutine. And so to do that, what we will do is we use the go keyword, place that before the function that we want to run concurrently, and then these will run now at the same time. Say hello will run at the same time as this. And so looking at what we've got here, we don't know which is going to be executed first. Maybe Go will run this line before it runs this one, or it could run the other one first. Let's run this, go run main.go. And so the only thing we see here is hello from main. Let me explain. When you start the goroutine, main continues immediately without waiting. And so when main returns, the program exits even if goroutines are still running. So how do we know if our goroutine is actually running here? What we can do is just drop in a sleep. So on the time package, there is a sleep function, and here we're just going to sleep for 100 milliseconds, which should buy us enough time for say hello to do what it needs to do and print out. Let's go and try that. Go run main.go. Okay, so this time we get to see both. We get to see hello from goroutine plus hello from main. And the two things are running at the same time. So as you saw first time round, without the sleep, say hello was invoked, but Go didn't wait for it to complete. It just moved straight to the next line, and so it was able to actually complete quicker before it was able to print out hello from a goroutine. So without that time sleep, the program might exit before the goroutine has had its chance to print its message. The order of output isn't guaranteed because they're both running concurrently. Now, something that you'll often see is that you can start an anonymous function as a goroutine. And again, when we run that, the program had finished before it actually got time to print. And so again, as you saw there, when the goroutine is started, it runs independently of the function that started it. And so this means the program may exit before the goroutine finishes running. And so for this reason, coordination is important. So when we move on to channels and other synchronization tools, you'll see how we can solve this problem. So how about if we just drop a loop in here that's just going to count up to quite a high number, 1 million, and then at the end of doing all that counting, it's going to print done. So this might give us a chance for our goroutine to actually print out its running in the background message first. Let's try this. Go run main.go. So as you can see, did its running in the background, and that happened to finish before the loop. If we change the loop to a small number, for example 1000, then that might not be the case. Let's run it again. And so as you can see, the loop actually completes and main completes before the go routine in that scenario. Okay, so in the lesson text version, there's some information here about when you should use a go routine, but actually as we progress through Go Bytes, it's going to be more obvious because we're going to be doing a lot of concurrent stuff. But check this out, it just tells you when you should use a go routine. Obviously, when you want to work concurrently, the work can happen independently, i.e. it's not dependent on the work surrounding it, i.e. the other code inside of the main function, or you do not need the result immediately and the task might block or wait. So just get a good understanding of that stuff, and then let's have a little challenge. Okay, so here is that challenge. Write a program that defines a function that prints a message. Start the function using a go routine, so using that go keyword. Then do some work in main, like a loop or printing a message or something which might just take some time, and then run the program multiple times. Just observe the output order. I'm sure you can do this. Pause me now and give that a go. Okay, so I've created a simple function called worker, and it's just going to print out one line. Now to start this using a go routine, we say go worker, and then we just want our main function just to do something, to take up a bit of time. So again, just going to put our loop in there. Don't need to actually put any work inside of it. But then we just want a message which is sourced from the main function. So here we're just going to say main running. So let's go and run this. Go run main.go. So as you can see there, we get worker running. Let's just delete 10 at a time just to see where this actually, where the byte point is. Okay, so it's between 100,000 and 1 million. The actual main function completes before the go routine. Okay, so that has been your introduction to Go Routines. In this one, we've really just looked at how we can actually define one and how we can actually start one. We haven't done anything too useful yet, but it's going to become a lot more useful as we look at some of the ways that we can control these things when we start getting into channels and other methods. So, hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope that's cleared up what Go Routines are. Make sure you subscribe if you want YouTube to show you more Go Bytes. And again, if you want to check out the lesson text, I'll leave links in the description. I'll see you in the next one.